right, my boy. Nice to have you back.
It's glad to be back, you know.
We had some unfortunate occurrence happen with the last footage, you know, I don't want to talk about.
It's alright, you know, second chance, you know.
For sure. Alright, break down your family background, you know, your upbringing, shit like that.
Well, got different sides of the family. My mom's side, the Lee family. My dad's side, the Steele family. Steele family is bred, born here in Chicago by way of Mississippi. Great grandparents, my grandmother is from Mississippi as well, but my dad's from Chicago. My mom's side, she's from Detroit. She was born in Georgia though, so she came from Detroit. From Georgia to Detroit, then came to Chicago in her 20s, and they had me. So that's how that happened, pretty much.
So how much of an influence was your dad in your life? Was he in your life?
Yeah, he's in my life for sure. And there's a huge influence. Kind of everything I do is influenced by him for the most part. From young to even now, even though he's not here, he's still influencing me on things that I do daily and decisions I make and the way I move and certain things like that. Just growing up and learning different things, and him teaching me, taught me how to tie my shoe, you know, taught me how to just do a bunch of things. Just took me to the barber. I remember him being, you know, taking me to the first, like a dad's job. Just take you till you get your first haircut, get you acquainted with your barber growing up and stuff like that. Being a man of the neighborhood and everybody in the neighborhood knowing him, that's something that I love to see as a kid, because it's like you want that type of respect. When you grow old, you want people in the neighborhood to be like, hey, you know, that's Cam from the block. You know, that's how I felt just seeing my dad. He used to pull up anywhere in his neighborhood, you know, say hello to whoever, the elderly people, young people, whoever. Whether he knew you or not, he spoke to you just to even have a conversation, because you never know what type of people you may encounter on a day-to-day basis. So just seeing him do that and not necessarily like judge anybody, but just be open to whoever he encountered. That's kind of something that I've always liked to see and like to see in myself.
What traits? I know you a social person. You feel me? You attract people with no problem. You think you got that from your dad?
Probably so. Definitely outgoing, definitely well-spoken, easy to get along with, friendly, all traits that he possessed. So I definitely would say I get, not to say that my mom's not social. My mom is definitely social, but you know, my dad was a politician, so that kind of was his job to be that socialite, to, you know, get people to understand his side of things, or to help be a voice of reason as well. That's also something that I pride myself on doing, being a bigger voice for those who may not be able to speak for themselves.
How many kids your father got?
3. Me, 2 biological. My other sister is sister of my eldest sister, so she with us too. So it's always been that way. It's always gonna be that way. So yeah, it's 3 of us basically.
What influence did he have on your sisters?
A lot. My oldest sister just became officially a doctor. She has residency at the hospital in Oakland, Advocate Health or something like that. So her finally reaching that goal this year was something that he always wanted, something that he always instilled in her. She was in school for 10 years, so he was there for as long as he could be there. He was there. We used to go pick her up from school when she used to move from town. She was St. Louis first. Then she went to med school at SIUC. Then she went to med school out of the country at Ross, one of the like most prestigious medical schools. Ross is all the way in like Dominica. So he always was like that fire for her. He always was, you know, she was feeling down and out. He'd have a pep talk with her and she'd just be right back in mode, just back locked in. It kind of was the same for me. So I know that, and then my sister's like a daddy's girl. So they was close like that, was super tight. And yeah, sometimes I was a little jealous of their relationship, not gonna lie. But I know she loves him. To this day still, anything she do is inspired by him. So
do you think he was hard on you?
Yeah, he definitely was hard on me. I mean, not as hard as he could have been. I didn't live with him fully, so he could have been harder had I lived with him probably. But he did as much as he could as far as discipline and teaching me responsibility from a distance. So he definitely was hard on me. I learned a lot, especially like all the way up until, you know, the last couple of days we were kind of butting heads, and I still to this day like didn't feel right about that. But I mean, things happen, and we made amends beforehand. So I complacent. Yes, I'm upset still, but the things and the lessons that he taught me is for a reason, and I couldn't be mad if I wanted to.
What are the top 3 lessons you learned from him?
Okay, responsibility is number 1. It really might outweigh the other 2, but responsibility, just checking in on your people, you know, making sure your family's good, making sure you're good, making sure you're handling business, you know, financially, and school. I had to be on top of those things because I would hear from him. If I wasn't on top of things like that, I would hear from him. At least putting forth an effort. He knows I might not have been the greatest scholar, you know, to be, but I was putting forth an effort and making progress and doing so. He was happy. He was content with that. So responsibility would be 1 lesson. 2 was to always be a family man. He was heavy on family. When my grandfather died, back when I was in middle school, he kind of was that person for everybody, even including my grandma. Because majority of the family grew up on the same block, and even in the years that I knew, she stayed across the street from my grandparents. So just being there always was something that he did. My godfather lives 2 doors down from my grandparents. My aunt lived 2 doors down from my dad. So we all were all in the same area, and the community, building up the community was always something, you know, they always say it takes a village to raise a child. So I hold that to be true just off my family and the things that I've seen and places I've been.
All right, now I know he passed. Sorry for your loss again. I heard a quote. It says, if a man fails to prepare his children for his death, then he failed them. Do you think you were prepared for his death?
I wasn't. I wasn't. Just because it happened suddenly in my eyes. I was talking to him. I could kind of, you know, give you a picture of my mind was that I was talking to him probably a little bit after we got home for summer break, and this was in the spring semester 17. So yeah, it was getting home, getting back acquainted for the summer or whatever. And I was talking to him, you know, I usually ask him every year, like, you know, what you doing for your birthday? Because his birthday is at the end of June 29th. So he just didn't, like, the spirit wasn't there. Like, the person that I know to be there and fully charged up and excited and you know, giving me some type of plan or direction, I didn't see that person when I talked to him that time. So ever since that, and that was like late May, early June. So I was, you know, man, what's going on? Like, it's okay, you know, whatever. He just say, you know, he hadn't been feeling well. He just kind of got out the hospital. Oh no, he was in the hospital. And I was like, man, nobody told me anything. Like, I'm just sitting here lost. So that was weighing on my mind. And then I had his car for a couple of weeks prior to. He just let me have the car and get stuff taken care of, or if I want to hang out, just teaching me responsibility once again. Because I didn't have a car, so it's like, okay, well, I'll let you see my car. Just make sure that, you know, you put the gas in there, anything going on, let me know. Things like that, keep up with it. So I thought I was doing it big. Like, you know, I had the car, you know, like, it's the summertime, I just got home from school, you know. So like the week before, I actually went and picked him up from the hospital. And even then, I kind of sensed like it just stuff didn't seem right. It just wasn't flowing normally. So I was just like, okay, whatever, you know. this Superman to me. So I'm like, look, he say he good, he good. That's how we rolling. That's always how it has been. It's always how it will be. So I took him home. Actually, we tried to go to CVS after we left the hospital to get some medicine, and it wasn't. They didn't have it, or it wasn't the right pricing, or something like that. So, you know, just took him home, and it's like, okay. And then I had to car some more after that. And then one day we just got into it real bad because he wanted me to bring the car back, and at a time that I thought wasn't late. I guess he considered it to be late, and you know, we bumped heads real bad after that. And something that I didn't think was very serious at the time. Who would have known? Like, you know, it's my last kind of moments with my dad at that time, and I was upset. Like, I was mad. Like, look, I ain't think I did nothing wrong. You know what? Something small like that, but it kind of now has more value to it, and it's just once again hitting back on that responsibility thing. I mean, you know, you ask somebody to do something and they do it on their time instead of your time, you're gonna be upset too. So, you know, just both of us being who we are, being kind of like stuck in our ways, it didn't, you know, didn't suit any one of us. Yes, he was trying to teach a parental lesson at the time, and I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm not really trying to hear that right now. But yeah, I took the car back that day, and I got an earful the whole ride home. Still on responsibility. I'm trying to show you that this is what you know, da 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 da. And I'm just like, okay. But didn't really talk to him after that. A couple days after that, and it was creeping around like Father's Day weekend, and I was like, okay, well, I'll see my dad. I'm sure I will see him. I'm not, you know, not gonna not see him, but whatever. So my sister, my older sister, she came and picked me up because she was going over there to go see him, just Father's Day or whatever. So I'm like, okay. And then my sister knew about the situation between us, and I didn't know that she knew. So she was just sitting in the car. We was talking on the way to my dad's house, and she was like, you know, what's going on? You know, what? Just like told my side of the story, and you know, but as a woman, she's trying to mediate both feelings and both sides and stuff like that. So I had to understand, especially, you know, being an older sibling. She was telling me like, look, he just wants to know that you're doing XYZ. He wants to know that you got something going on. You got, you know, some progression going on. You know, you got school, but what else? It's always that, but what else? What else are you doing? I don't think I had a job in the summer at that time either. So it's like, you know, what you doing? You know, you home for the summer, but you just sitting around. I was doing I was a camp counselor. I was a camp counselor for the kids, like, in my neighborhood. But, you know, that was part-time, Monday through Friday. It wasn't a real job where I had to work 8 hours on a day-to-day basis. So, and then I told her, and I was like, okay, well, alongside of that, I was starting up the DJ stuff. And then I was starting up the clothes. The Takeover season was starting to just build up. And she was like, okay, well, why don't you tell him that? Because he's just sitting here thinking that you just, you know, at home, kicking it, working a little part-time job here and there. Nothing with real substance, basically, is what I'm getting at. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I had never thought about it like that. I'm trying to get stepped in first. You don't want to just tell somebody about something and it's not really working or it's not going. But just the idea of a parent hearing something that their child is creating or going on might bring something out of the parent, might bring different ideas or different. So at the time, like, I wasn't thinking like that, of course, but I was like, okay. So we went over to his house, and you know, he was still ill. Wasn't all the way him. He was trying to be him as much as he could, but it was just us. and him in a room just chilling, watching, you know, he was watching probably sports or whatever. And you know, my sister spoke, you know, brought the two of us together in her conversation. I think I had a card for him or something, and she just led me in basically on the conversation. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm starting up the DJ stuff seriously, and I got my clothes coming on the way, and I'm gonna take this serious. Like I'm really, this is something I'm really passionate about. And granted, my dad didn't have like a lot of energy, he couldn't say a lot of words, but I seen it in his, you know, his what am I saying? His energy. I liked the vibe that I was getting. I could tell that I was making him proud and doing something. Telling him something because he had no clue about it. Yeah, he knew I was like DJing a little bit, but he probably thought that I was just gonna use that, and at the time I used it and not take it seriously overall. So I told him that, and you know, he gave me a fist bump. Stuff like that, it didn't take words. It didn't take words for him to, yeah, son, I'm proud of you. Like, I didn't need that. Something was better than nothing. The fist bump was the validation that I needed from him, and that was pretty much my last moments. Yeah, because he passed away the day after Father's Day. So seeing him Sunday and then getting that call the next day after I got off work, it was, yeah, it's tough. It still don't really sit right with me at all. It probably never will. But yeah, that's just, so I can't necessarily say he failed me. It just hurt a little bit, because not even a little bit, it hurt a lot. Because I mean, that was somebody who I was really close with, and that was somebody who I considered a right-hand man, you know. Granted, like, you know, it's not your friend, it's my dad, but still, like, we was tight like that, you know, talk about whatever. He always used to laugh at me about sports, stuff like that, my teams, and LeBron and the Cowboys and stuff like that. He used to make fun of me when they lose, or you know, that type of stuff. And that type of stuff, like, I miss that type of stuff this day and age, because, you know, that's 3 years ago, and look how much the world has changed in 3 years. So it's just like, you supposed to be here. That's how I feel. You supposed to be here. But, you know, we still gonna make it happen regardless.
So what do you miss the most about him in your life?
The guidance, honestly. Just being pointed in the right direction. Not saying that other people steer me in the wrong direction, but it's just like an extra set of eyes. He saw some things that I didn't see, or things that I should have saw, or things I wish I could have saw. And it's just like, now it's kind of different because I got a hold of things, but he might know people that might be in a higher position that could have helped me with some things that I got going on right now. And it's just like, man, the entertainment too. He's just a funny guy. He's just always can make you laugh. Always could, you know, the smile brighten up the room, and you know, we never really went out, you know, got drinks. So I had just, man, I was June, September. I only been 21 for like 6 months at that time. So that we didn't really I didn't get to enjoy my adult life with him, basically, is what I'm getting at. Like, I was still in school, so, you know, wasn't at home. Even like being at home after school would have been different, because he would have been right there. It's just the everyday of being there, you know, somebody to just text you and put you on point. You know, sometimes I'll be off track, send you that little text message, or, you know, he used to send me scriptures, Bible scriptures. So stuff like that, I had to find somebody to fill that gap. Like, stuff like that. It's the small things, the small I would call them W's, small W's that I miss, or just say, like I said, an extra set of eyes who just would be there and you wouldn't even know they were there.
So, you from the west side of Chicago, right?
Yeah.
So I know we all got homies that don't have no father.
Right.
So talk about how your observations of watching your homies come up without a father and you having yours. Like, do you see a difference for men who grow up with their father compared to those without?
I ain't gonna lie, I do see a difference at times, but that was more so, probably more so high school, because college is a little bit different. Everybody's adults. Everybody is just really fending for themselves. If you out there, if you're in school or you're in a college area, you found your way out there somehow, some way. So in high school, yeah, because we thought we were grown and we weren't all the way. And the parent was the one that brought you back down to earth at times. Like, look, you smell yourself a little bit, I know you're a little free, you 18 or 17 or whatever, you doing this and that. But I mean, the people I hung around weren't bad people. They not bad people. I still hang around them today. So the majority of them had fathers in their life, or not in the home, but in the life. So they still had the guidance. Yes, I do see a difference. None of my friends like been to jail or did anything like that, and I'm thankful for that. Definitely super thankful for that. And even just seeing it now is just like, I'm thankful to have my parents in my life and for the guidance and the lessons and stuff like that, because I could have been easily influenced way back then. So much stuff going on. And at a school like I went to with 3,000, 4,000 kids, it's a bunch of different personalities and a bunch of different, visions and thoughts going on. So college, you could get to be your own person. It's just high school, you more so going with whatever's popping. So yeah, just I don't know. I would say that just being where I'm from, you can't either get it or you don't. Like it's no real in betweens.